Now, a novel way to see one of the French capital's most famous landmarks now. A zip line's been set up on the second floor of the Eiffel Tower, and it sends users whizzing to the ground. Those brave or daft enough to take the 115-metre plunge will land on a platform on the Champ de Mars Park, and there they can watch tennis matches going on at the French Open nearby on a big screen. There you go, another reason to come to Paris, as if you needed any more. Well, let's bring you MediaWatch now. Emma James is with us in the studio. It's good to see you, Emma. Sadly, here we are in the wake of yet another atrocity, another terrorist attack, this time in London on Saturday night. You've been looking, as always, at the reaction online.
Yes, absolutely. The British really having to draw on their reserves of resolve right now with the third terror attack in less than 3 months. And a lot of media organisations really trying to strike the right balance with this. Perfect from Christian Adams in the London Evening Standard. I think you'll agree this cartoonist has drawn the defiant Brit pub on Borough High Street, saying it's open 24 hours. A real message of defiance without any disrespect to those who, of course, have suffered or lost their lives in this attack, this latest attack. The French cartoonist Plantu as well has come up with a really nice image. The words there say, "Leave it, they're too strong." Those two sort of figures of death with their pickaxes there trying to hack away at what makes London great. But not everybody is hitting the right note in their coverage. The New York Times was roundly criticised when it came up with this headline: "Terrorist attacks in the heart of London leave 6 dead and a nation still reeling." And it is that word reeling that seems to have upset people. Robert Harris, the author, said this sort of hyped up headline does the terrorists' job for them. He's not alone in criticising it, far from it. People fleeing London Bridge, but the bloke on the right isn't spilling a drop. God bless the Brits, says this Twitter user. And this man hanging on to his pint, even though he's running away from a terror attack, has been someone who has been, that image has been shared very widely across social media. J.K. Rowling, who of course wrote the Harry Potter books, said the thugs who mowed down innocent people would love to think of the UK reeling, but it isn't. Don't confuse grief with lack of courage. And another Twitter user saying that a woman on CNN talking about London's streets being eerily quiet. Mate, it's Sunday, he says. They're not cowering in fear, they're having a lie-in. Now, Absolutely. The New York Times did their best to redress the balance, really, with this article written by a British writer, Rosalind Warren. She says that we are choosing vigilance, calm, and just a little bit of humour, and any fear projected onto us will be met with a very British response: sarcasm.
All right, and it's not just the New York Times that's come under fire for its response, is it?
No, absolutely not. Donald Trump, the US president, has been roundly criticised in the US, in the UK, around the world for his reaction to this latest terror attack. The Washington Post has this as the headline: "World leaders call for unity after London attack. Trump tweets the complete opposite." What they say here is that while police were urging people not to spread rumours, those world leaders who did choose to speak out were very restrained and sympathetic. Not, however, Donald Trump, who used the occasion to push for his travel ban to be passed. Of course, the ban that he wants to see in the US to stop Muslims being able to enter the country freely. And then he went on to attack the London mayor, Sadiq Khan, criticising him for supposedly saying there is no reason to be alarmed. Now, those words did come out of his mouth, but they're very much taken out of context there by the US president. The London mayor hasn't actually responded in person, but his spokesperson says basically he has more important things to do than respond to ill-informed tweets.
Oh, well, actually, in the last few minutes, there's a comment from Sadiq Khan, because, he's been at this memorial service with faith leaders, and he's actually said, Trump will not divide our communities.
There you go.
Which is interesting, because it's usually people saying terrorism will not divide our communities. And
yes, I know, it does rather put Donald Trump in some uncomfortable company there.
There's a bit of a spat going on there, yeah.
Yes, what Sadiq Khan was saying is that people in London shouldn't be alarmed when they see an increased police presence. He also points out the fact that police in London took just 8 minutes from the first emergency call to actually get to the scene, and those 3 attackers then were lying dead in the street. Now, there is a fairly long history between these 2 men of criticism and some fairly harsh words for one another. Sadiq Khan in January this year talked about that Muslim travel ban as being shameful and cruel. He also called for the planned state visit of Donald Trump to be cancelled. We don't yet know when that is supposed to go ahead, but there are other people joining that call right now. Tim Farron, among them, the Liberal Democrat leader, said that Theresa May must withdraw the state visit. This is a man insulting our national values at a time of introspection and mourning. This gentleman says, very sarcastically again, Theresa May says she will stand up for Britain if only there was some immediate opportunity for her to demonstrate this. So lots of people unhappy, but of course Donald Trump himself has not backed away from these words despite all the criticism that we've seen. He has again...
Trump style. He's
absolutely
keeping it going, isn't he?
A few hours ago he tweeted this pathetic excuse by London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who had to think fast on his no reason to be alarmed statement. The mainstream media is working hard to sell it. Meanwhile, his advisor Kellyanne Conway has gone on television to actually say that it's all the media's fault for being obsessed with Donald Trump's Twitter feed.
All right, Emma, thank you very much indeed. Emma James there with Media Watch.